In this tutorial, we're going to go through a process of setting up a new user for your website. Now, it may be that you work in a team and some of those team members may need access to the back end of your website to support the running of your website. And we can create as many or as few users as you like who have access to the back end of the website, and they can do all manner of things, whether you want them to have access to the entire back end of your website, so they can configure things like the layout and the general design of the website, or whether you just want to restrict that so they can just edit pages and posts. We can do that also. So being able to create new user accounts is incredibly useful if you are working within a team environment and you need additional people to be able to access the back end of your website. So in order to add a new user account, we're going to go to the back end of the site, and we're going to click on this item here called users, and this will list all of the user accounts we currently have. Now currently, as you can see on the screen, I just have one user account. That's the administrator role, so this is me. And as an administrator, you have complete access to the entire running of your website. So everything from layout, the design, customization options, pages, post navigation, the full works. But we can create new users who have elements of that. So we're going to take a look at how to do that now. So click on the button Add New to add a new user. And we need to give them a username, so let's just call this username user1. We need to pop in an email address, so this is the email address of the person who you wish to give access to the website. I'm just going to pop test in for now, just for purposes of this video. Pop in their first name and last name, so Joe Blogs. Website we can leave blank, we don't need to worry about that. Password, obviously we need to give them a password, so create something that is going to be strong enough that it cannot easily be guessed, if you like. And there'll be a strength indicator here which will give you an idea. So if I simply type in password, so I've typed in password now, as you can see there's a warning in red saying this is very weak. To give you an idea, the password should be at least 7 characters long. To make it stronger, use upper and lowercase numbers and symbols. So it is a really good idea to make sure you have a really complicated password that cannot be guessed. I would suggest write it down first in, say, Microsoft Word, and then copy and paste it. Keep a copy of it, obviously, and send it to that person so they have a copy of that particular password. So for example, what I'm going to do is I'm going to simply open up Word. And this is typically what I would do if I was creating a new password. I would write out just a random set of numbers, some uppercase, some lowercase, add in some special characters, so an ampersand sign, dollar, a pound sign, and I'm going to simply copy that and drop that back in. As you can see, it's the indicator saying it's a really strong password. Obviously I'm not going to remember that, so you need to make a copy of that and send it to a person whose account this is, so they have access to that. And it's really important it's a really strong password, because essentially you're giving this person access to the back end of your website. If it's something really basic that can be guessed very easily, you stand a higher chance of your website getting hacked. So I strongly recommend you have something that's a very strong password. Okay, and then what you can do is you can tick this box if you wish to send this password automatically to the new user. So because we'll have added their email address in here, if we click that and click add new user, automatically they're going to get a notification to say your account's been set up, here's your password. Now it may be we don't want to do that, it may be we want to have a conversation with that person first and perhaps give them a note with their password on. However you want to do it, you can do it either way. Now the role, this is the important bit. Under here we have a number of different options. These are the different roles we can assign to this particular user. Now each role has a varying level of access to the back end of your website. Now the administrator is, as we've already discussed, the administrator is kind of a top level. So this is someone who would have complete access to your entire back end of your website. So if you wanted to give a member of your team complete access so they can manage your website entirely, set them up as administrator. They'll be able to change things like the design, the layouts. They'll be able to add new themes and new plugins also. An editor is someone who can control all of the content, so they will not have access to any of the layout or design options, so things like the appearance and the plugins. That will disappear. All they can do is create and edit pages and posts on your website. So the editor is a great role for someone who you just want to manage the content. So perhaps your website's already been set up, you're happy with it, you don't want them to go messing about with the design and the layouts. Set them up as an editor, and they will be able to add and edit all the content on your website in terms of the pages and posts and images. Now, an author is similar to an editor in that they cannot access any of the appearance or design settings of your website, so all they can do is create and edit pages and posts. However, they can only edit their own posts, so they can't edit all of the content, just for ones that they have created themselves. Now, a contributor has even less rights, so they can't edit any of the existing content on the site. All they can do is simply create a post and submit it for your approval. So they can't post them, or they can't make the post live. All they can do is simply create a post and it gets submitted for your approval. And then the lowest grade on the role is a subscriber, which would typically be used for, say, your website visitors. Now, this is someone who can log in and leave comments. So if you have comments set up on your website, they can simply log in and they can add comments, but that's all they can do. So they have no access to any of the back end of your website at all. So depending on what you would like the person to have the ability to do on your website will define which role you want to give them. Now, once you've decided on that, simply click Add New User, and that will add the new user to your website.